Hello, and welcome back to the Astral Tourist. These are some shorter astral experiences I've had throughout the past week. I was waiting until I had enough to put them all into an episode, and here that episode is. We'll explore an astral curiosity shop, Thoth's Ankh, a return to the underwater UFO, yay! Some strange love, sigils, and cats. From a quirky astral shop to some unexpected encounters. This episode has a little bit of everything, so grab your cosmic compass and join me as we explore what the universe has in store. Our first stop is inside an astral mall in a very curious shop. In a brief astral projection from about 5 days ago, I found myself in a shop inside what felt like a sprawling astral mall. The shop had colored scratch and sniff swatches that I could actually smell, surprisingly vivid. The fruity ones came through the most strong for me. The store owner explained that once you buy them, they transform into various items like bouquets of flowers, objects, and tools. He offered to show me how it worked, so I asked to see the trippiest one he had. He grinned from ear to ear and scratched a greenish-purple swatch, then pulled out a long, super thick incense stick from it, I think at least 5 feet long. Maybe not quite 5 feet, maybe 4 feet. I'm not sure anymore, but it was long. It was covered in herbs and flower petals. Some looked like weed, datura flowers, and mugwort, along with various other flowers and herbs. I had no idea what they were. All of it was held together by a dense, swirling, sticky-looking sap. It was a grayish sap that shimmered faintly. He told me it was meant to be burned like an incense, and then the smoke, once inhaled or absorbed, would trigger the special effects. I thanked him for the demonstration, but I didn't buy it and woke up soon after. So this isn't the first time I've seen items like this in astral shops where you are supposed to burn them and inhale the smoke, and then you get something from it. It's not always like a trippy experience. It could be just some kind of memory recall or something. But that isn't the first time I've seen that method used. The whole experience had this fun, quirky, artsy shop vibe. The shopkeeper wasn't pushy at all, just genuinely excited to show off his creations, which made the whole thing feel really playful and light. I wish I could have stayed longer or remembered what else he had tucked away in that shop. I don't usually have a very good sense of smell in the astral, so that experience was a real treat. That was a real winner for me as far as smell goes. This next one is from the night before last night. I had a powerful moment just as I was waking up, still barely out of my physical body. So this is not even awake back to bed. I was just waking up during that next morning. I remembered to hold still. I had astral projected again, just right close to my physical body, but I hadn't gotten very far. And with my 360-degree vision, I could see through the wall. Now, remember, it can be disorienting to use it that way, but I could see through the wall into the sky above the nearby lake, where a giant glowing Ankh was slowly floating toward my window. As it approached my bedroom window, bright light poured through the loop at the top of the Ankh, and half a man's face appeared within it, looking in at me, and the rest was kind of like separated by light, but not with a clear line. It was all kind of like a little bit hazy and stuff in that middle area, and that part of his face just was faded out, and just the half looking in was there. His expression wasn't threatening, more curious and quietly observant. The part that was clear enough for me to tell. He had dark brown or tanned skin, shaved black hair, and dark gleaming eyes. Now, I'm not sure if they were super dark brown or just outright black. But I'm thinking outright black. I don't know for sure. I mean, I could tell they were really dark and they had light like right through the irises. So I just stared back, wondering if this had anything to do with the Thoth Isis invocations I've been doing around the waxing to full moon here. I mean, of course, possible connection is, my mind was spinning. The figure didn't match the classic image of Thoth with the ibis head, though. But perhaps that was the point. Maybe he was appearing in a more human, accessible form to me, or maybe it wasn't him at all. I mean, like, why should he spend his time on me? But someone or something connected to the energy of Thoth I'd been calling in. So I'm wondering if it wasn't like a messenger of some kind, just to kind of make a nod at the invocation I did. Like, I think, maybe Thoth didn't have the time for me, but he sent someone to say, yeah, I heard you. I don't know. I didn't have the chance to slip out through the window and engage. Before I could move or say anything, I was pulled back into my physical body. Oh, I stayed too close to my body, watching all of this instead of zooming right out there. But still, there was the sense of being acknowledged and seen. Even though nothing was said, it felt like the work I've been doing with my intention and invocation, whatever you want to call it, has been acknowledged somehow. Maybe it wasn't a full conversation. Well, it wasn't a full conversation, but it definitely felt like a nod, like something. And sometimes in the astral, that's enough to know that something happened, something real, and my energy has been acknowledged. So I'm absolutely thrilled with that. I wasn't necessarily expecting Thoth himself to show up, so I'm just totally pleased, happy, thrilled, you name it. That's good enough for me. Moving on, I had a brief but vivid astral projection back to the underwater UFO finally. Yes, yay, some success. It's a place I've been trying to revisit in the astral regularly, right as I fall asleep, and you can see my other videos about it. This time, during a direct astral projection attempt, I suddenly phased right into the ship, landing in the exact same hallway I had arrived in during my previous visit. Like, yay, I definitely have that ident. That's where I go when I go there. That's so perfect. It felt familiar, of course, like picking right up where I left off, because I was. As I floated along the corridor, I encountered a very tall being with super pale skin and wavy dark hair. His energy was bright and warm, reminding me of the tall white alien guide I've met before, and yet a different astral projection. I'm pretty confident he was one of the same kind. He was giving off those vibes. His presence felt gentle, intelligent, and inviting. I couldn't sense any other beings in the ship, though, which had me a little perplexed, and he immediately explained they weren't there at the moment, but would return later. I told him telepathically about the aquatic ET beings, showed him pictures, and our encounter and everything, how I met them previously, and how they used a fascinating tandem telepathy style to communicate. He confirmed they weren't on board at the time either. Then he reassured me that I'm on their visitor list, and I was welcome to come back to visit again anytime. That felt pretty significant. Like, wow, wow. I'd been acknowledged, and not just as some random tourist or traveler. Like, I'm on their list. Thumbs up. I asked him why the ship was stationed underwater, and he said it was a simple research vessel. Before he could elaborate, I woke up, of course, right at the moment. I wanted to hear more about that research. Frustrating, but also motivating. These tall whites are some of the most friendly and forthcoming beings I have encountered in the astral so far. They seem genuinely open to communication. Even though I didn't find out the specifics of their research this time, I've heard others talk about how ETs are deeply interested in Earth's oceans and aquatic life. I plan to keep trying. I'm not giving up. I'll keep trying, not only to learn more about their work, but also to explore and hopefully experience that tandem telepathy again. This visit, brief as it was, only strengthened my desire to keep reaching out to this particular place and vessel, wherever it is in time, and the ocean and all of that. And I'm still going wow on that one. I got back, which means I can keep going back. The more you go back to a place, the more you're able to, basically. So that's a really big win. I know it seems small and nothing drastic, but it was brief, but it's a big, big win, meaning I can keep going back. This next one I'm calling Pink Moon Oddities, Strange Love, and Sigils. So last night, during the full pink moon, I had a semi-lucid experience that blended both astral projection and some dream elements. Now remember, our minds interpret everything. I don't think I was completely lucid dreaming over the astral, but I may have been, like, for a few moments at a time, here and there. But I was definitely astral projecting because there were definite astral elements. I found myself in the hallway of a university building, and once I became lucid, I realized I had a dorm room reserved nearby, but couldn't quite remember where it was. As I was trying to focus on locating my room, a being that resembled the character of Dr. Adam Bricker from the Love Boat TV show drifted over to me. To my surprise, he declared that he was in love with me and handed me a gigantic Valentine's Day card, complete with scenery and feelings and love, all this stuff in there. It was this total big wow display. And I knew immediately, because I was lucid enough, this couldn't be the actual character. And I tried to use a show me your true form command to my own mind, like to see who I was really dealing with. And since our minds are always like translating stuff, I thought, well, maybe it's a being showing me a lot of love, and I somehow had switched it to this Dr. Bricker, who I actually don't even care for in the show, by the way, which was weird, right? And a weird transformation if that's what it was. However, he was telepathing to me at the same time I was trying to use that command to myself. And as I focused on understanding his message as well, my command attempt didn't work because I wasn't fully focused. To multitask there, the gist of his message was that he wanted me to come back to his large house to talk about his feelings. Meanwhile, he was still beaming me all this love, like total love. And I was still just trying to get a grip on the situation, really. I've never been attracted, like I said, to that particular character. He's portrayed as a ladies' man, but I didn't see what was so special about being just one more of many ladies. Nothing about that appeals to me at all. One more in a long line? That's not me. He continued to try and convince me to go with him to talk about it. Even though I was really lucid by then, I knew I was still feeling tired. I was putting energy into this lucidity now, and I still wanted to be polite. So I told him I was really surprised by his sudden declaration of love, which is completely true. I really was, because I didn't feel like I knew this person at all. But I needed rest and time to think about everything. I knew my mind was still really tired, and maybe I just didn't recognize him, but I really knew him. Again, lots of like grasshopper thoughts in my mind, like, who is this? What is this? I also really just didn't sense any real connection with him on an emotional level or a spiritual level. I was just racking my brain and my heart trying to figure this one out. Despite all this, just direct love being projected right at me. So at this point, I noticed he had a friend with him, and I hadn't noticed that before, and it was someone I didn't recognize at all. His friend asked to show me to my dorm room, and they both tried to be gentlemanly, like they were very nice about it all, and offering to escort me there, one on each side, which I allowed because, I know I can wake up any time and or go invisible and all this other stuff. So I was like, okay, let's see how they do here. Let's see if they're really gentlemen or if they're going to be tricky, We drifted down the hallway until I saw my door. It was glowing with the Sigil de Amethyst embedded in the wall, pulsing with light. I was so happy to see that. My sigil work is going really well. They're coming with me into the astral. Wow, the power grounding is working on, to some degree. I pressed the sigil to enter, and inside was a small dorm room with 2 sets of bunk beds. Everyone was resting in their beds except for mine, which was reserved for me, of course, and that was the bottom left bunk. I let them both peek inside, but I didn't allow them to enter. I told them I didn't want to disturb the others who were resting. Still in the hallway, the doctor's friend asked why I would choose a small dorm room over their much larger, more comfortable house/estate. He's going on about it like you could come to this huge mansion with us, And I explained again that I just needed rest and time to think about all this. It was all happening so fast, all that love and everything. It's like, I'm going to take, my time to think and process all of that. I didn't sense any connection to either of them. So my own space felt like the way better choice. Again, I told them more directly to leave, and that time they actually did. So they were really upfront and direct. But the appearance of the friend has me a little baffled because he wasn't as upfront and direct. He wasn't there with the doctor at the very beginning. He came in later, to help translate or something. And they didn't leave right away. They did escort me to the place I really wanted to go, even though they actually really wanted me to go with them very strongly. But I also didn't feel manipulated. It was just all really direct and sudden. So this one has me baffled a bit. If you have ideas, let me know, please. So my bunk was the lower left one and was filled with a powerful energy. I had really gone all out works. The walls were covered with sigils I'd been using for my grounding and manifestation work, including an Ankh, my various runes, way more symbols than I've even used so far. And all around my bunk were glowing, streaming curtains of light with soft, silky, comforting energies. I really did the works on this tiny little space, and it felt far better than a big, unfamiliar house with strangers. I really didn't sense any connections there, so I think I made the right choice there. I don't know, usually I'm pretty curious, but right then I just wanted to be in my spot, and I definitely got right in there. I laid down and rested, soaking in the energies I'd already created, and like soaking them right back into me, into my form. And as I became more lucid, this is after some time. I was there, I don't know how long, maybe half hour, I don't know. But after some time, I became more lucid again, and my passed on cat appeared with a new friend, a silky gray cat I didn't recognize. Now, she often brings her new cat friends with her during her visits in the astral, so the appearance of another cat wasn't especially surprising. I was still feeling, to some degree, sleepy and dreamy, even though I knew I was still astral projecting. So I snuggled them both, petting them. The gray cat was a bit shy at first. I could tell it was a female cat, but she warmed up to me quickly. Like she was back and forth a little bit at first. Like cats can be like sniffing and leaving and then coming closer and stuff like that. But eventually she let me shower her with love and energy and snuggles and the works. Yeah, cats. Cats are amazing. I miss mine all the time, but she does visit and she brings friends. So yay for that. And I just, I loved them up, both of them. As I grew more lucid, I began to hear a soft humming from the bunk across from me. And I saw a lady's astral form, mainly her head, actually, smiling. She was smiling widely, ear to ear, as she sang a chorus telepathically, repeating, years and years and years and years. It was almost like a mantra, but it was also like the chorus to this song. And I felt like I couldn't hear all the music to it, like that she was hearing. And this is just, I wasn't like trying to tune into her. She was just broadcasting this song telepathically. And we're in this tiny dorm room, right? So it's amazing I didn't hear the others as well, actually. And it was a simple, happy song, one that clearly brought her joy. I just let myself bask in the peaceful, harmonious vibes and that song until I woke up. And that's a wrap on today's sharings. Even though these were short, brief experiences, we've covered a ton of astral ground today. I hope these experiences sparked some cosmic curiosities for you. If you enjoyed the adventures, remember to like, share, and subscribe to the Astral Tourist for more astral explorations. As always, feel free to drop a comment below, sharing your own otherworldly encounters or thoughts. I'd love to hear from you. Please let me know if you have any special requests. I already have a few things on my astral to-do list, but I can possibly add in some more. And until next time, keep your cosmic compass close and your mind open to the mysteries of the universe. Happy astral travels!